Alright, here's the other one, page 64, number 71, I had a request for. You can take a look at that in your book if you need to. Then we have our equation for the number of ant species in the canyon depending on the elevation. E for elevation, S for species. So, it says predict the elevation, so you're going to be trying to find the elevation when you would expect to find 10 species of ants. So you would plug in 10 for this species and solve this equation for E, or elevation. So when you do that, this one is a really ugly equation. You don't want to try to factor this one. You don't want to even try completing the square because this is not 1e squared. So you want to take this 10 right here, subtract the 10 over to the other side, get this thing equal to 0, and solve this using the quadratic formula. So, when you do that, you're going to get 31 over here, minus 31. Now you just use your A and your B and your C in the formula. So, bear with me for just a second because I'm going to fill in my formula. And it's going to be kind of ugly here because this is some pretty ugly decimals. So, you're going to have negative 0.042 on the front side here because the opposite of B is positive 0.042. Then you're going to have your plus or minus, and then inside the square root we're going to have all this ugly mess, and we're going to deal with that in just a second. Then you have 2 times the negative 0.00013, and that obviously, oops, is going to be something. You're going to have negative, I don't know, I should have known that, I wasn't even paying attention to what I was doing there, 0.000026 there on the bottom. Inside your square root, you're going to have your parentheses here, let's close that out, and you're going to have 0.042 squared. When you square that, you get that. And then you're going to minus 4 times negative 0.00013 times negative 31 equals 0.0000152 inside that radical. And that is something that's pretty ugly in there, but that happens from time to time. You'll get something that's kind of ugly, but then you just take your calculator to find your approximate species here, in this case, or elevation, excuse me. So we take that negative 0.042 I really wish I had one of my calculators from school. It would probably help this go a little bit smoother here. Oh, it's going to make me do the square root first. Okay, so if we take the square root of 0.000152, get that is going to be 0.0123. So let's just remember that, and let's round this one a little bit. It'll be okay on this case. So if we add a negative 0.042 to that, and then divide that by the negative 0.000026 on the bottom, 1141.2 basically. So we'll round that to 2 decimal places, 1 decimal place there. And then you have the negative square root, which we said to remember that was negative 0.0123. This thing is not liking me tonight, guys. I'm sorry. So then we take the negative square root, add it to the negative 0.042, and divide that by negative 0.000026, and you get approximately 2088.46 or 0.5. So it says predict the elevation at which you would expect to see 10 species of ants. That tells you that there's two different elevations that you could have. 1,141 feet or 0.2 feet in elevation, or excuse me, this was in meters, sorry. And then 2,088.5 meters in elevation.